Alright, so a few days ago I installed this NAS into my room and it is working perfectly fine for storing all my files, nothing's going wrong with it. Well, except one thing, I'll talk about that a little bit later. But it has one big problem is that it is damn near uselessly slow. And I'm not talking about like, oh, 120 FPS is literally unplayable type of slow. I'm talking about like data corruption mid transfer. I'm talking about like taking 4 hours to transfer 55 gigabytes worth of files. It is so slow that sometimes when I'm trying to transfer a really big video file, that it would just mid transfer encounter a network error before it is completed the transfer. So it is very slow. It is painfully slow because the networking speed on the motherboard is only 100 megabits per second. So to fix that, I bought a gigabyte NIC, which I'm going to install onto the NAS itself. I have some Cat6 LAN cables, so I'm going to take the cable connection from that router switch thing and drag it directly to my computer so that my computer has a direct connection to the NAS via the router cables instead of having to go by Wi-Fi and sneak around the main router back into this router. Now, 1 gigabit is around 125 megabytes per second of data transfer. Though when I tested SATA Purple drives, they only were able to transfer at like 80 to 100 megabytes per second when I put it into an external hard drive enclosure. So probably will still be bottlenecked by the hard drive itself, but there's still a massive improvement above the 5 megabytes per second that I was getting through the 100 megabit connection that was on the motherboard itself. But because that router switch thing is only rated for like 300 megabit connections, it's probably going to be bottlenecked down to like 30, 40 megabytes per second of actual data transfer, which is not great. It's still far away from the maximum of these hard drives. But even if I only get 30, 40 megabytes per second of data transfer, that's still way, way better than the 5 to 10 that I was getting with the NIC that's built into the motherboard. Also, like, I just want to say, it is strangely warm here. Like, the thing is idling, nothing's happening on it, but it is strangely warm. Okay, just looking at the threads right now, according to this guy, what I'm supposed to do is just shut down the NAS, install this NIC, boot it back up, and then go into the web UI, assign the old NIC to a new IP address, and then assign this new NIC to the old IP address. Sounds simple enough. Sounds pretty simple. Hopefully it will be. Okay. This is just an empty casing, by the way. I still haven't figured out what to do with this one. Whew. Oh god, that is hot. Oh. Oh crap. Oh no. Why are you hot? Okay, so the hard drives are really hot for some reason. There are grills at the front for where air is supposed to exit out of the case, but it doesn't seem to be working. Maybe I can seal off this side panel to get better airflow. I don't know about that one. I also have these two PC fans, which I could replace this and then jumper into the Molex connection, but I guess I'm gonna do that later. By the way, did you know this is my first time building a PC? Like, this is my first PC. Most of my entire life, I only use laptops. So the first time I'm building a PC, I'm immediately building a server. So, hooray! That's kind of like half the reason why I want to build a NAS is because I kind of want to use it as an excuse to study networking because I'm electrical engineering and we need to study networking. It's sort of our jobs. So when I came to university to do, why won't you come up? You know what I love about PCs is that somehow all you nerds manage to set aside your differences and actually achieve standardization for everything. Like the I/O shields for these, the fact that you managed to standardize that across all PCs, across so many generations, is amazing. I'm in electrical engineering. I study embedded electronics. Damn near nothing is standardized. You have some standardization, but even the color of the positive and negative rails are sometimes swapped out. So this is amazing to me. Why haven't I worked with PCs anytime sooner? Oh yeah, it's because I need laptops for most of my work. There we go. Now, I'm gonna deal with this fan. Okay, I got this stupid idea. So the cover of the chassis has these grills. I was just gonna cover up with plastic to stop air from leaking through here and actually, going through the hard drives for accident in the case. But like, what if I? Oh, so the holes are too small for M4 screws. But what if I take this and glue it on? Because we have so much surface area right here, prime for cooling equipment. Oh my god. Call me Jeremy Clarkson, the way my genius be frightening. That's pitiful airflow, but it's better than one. It's better than four, absolutely. What's up is spilling to the side for some reason. It is a fair bit louder. And it consumes slightly more electricity. These two combined consume like 7 watts, which is still like, as a light bulb, I don't really mind that. So, it'll be fine. I also covered the holes where the fan used to be, as well as these grids for some reason. So now the only way air can get in is through the PSU fan, the side cover, and maybe some of these screw holes. And the only way that you're going to get out through, well, once again, some of the screw holes, as well as the grid on the front, which is past the hard disk drives. So hopefully, this will improve cooling. I hope. I'm really hoping. If not, I'll have to disassemble it and blah 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 blah. It'll be fine. Well, God. Come on. I need to make handles for this. Cat 5e connector hooked up into the NIC on the motherboard, and Cat 6 connector connected directly to the gigabit NIC. So, theoretically, now all I should do is, now that I can access it through my web UI, and configure it and then test it out. Okay, I've plugged it in. Let's see. It's very loud. It is getting significantly better airflow. Cooling issues slightly mitigated. Now let's just config everything on the bloody computer. Okay, I now have a constant low droning in my room, so at some point I'm gonna need to upgrade that bloody fan, but Trina has booted, so that's always good. Okay, we are now using the new NIC. Let's try transferring some stuff. See how that goes. Yep, it's loading a little bit faster. Okay, let's take this one. Let's copy that. Let's put it here. Paste. And we're still, that's slightly better, like 1 megabyte per second more. But we're still limited by the router speed. So it's a step in the right direction, but it's not enough. Oh, let me try using cable. Let's see if cable improves it. Okay, so that was wholly ineffective. But let's try running this cable from this router to my work desk. So maybe that'll improve something. If nothing else, at least reliability. Okay, I now have a wired connection between the NAS and, well, not between the NAS and this, but between the router and my computer. So let's see if that helps. Does that do anything? Kinda. I mean, well, that's certainly more stable. It's maxing out though. I mean, it's still bottlenecked at 100 megabits per second, but it's stable. Again, I think I'm just gonna call it here. It's a step in the right direction, but I still now more than ever need a gigabit switch. So I'm gonna do that some more time. Thank you guys for watching, and I guess I'll see you some other time. Laters. Okay, so this finally arrived. It's a cheapo Mercusis gigabit Ethernet switch. So of course the NIC that we installed onto the NAS, it is capable of gigabit connections. It's just that it is bottlenecked by the switch on the router, which despite the router itself being capable of 300 megabit Wi-Fi, it is only capable of 100 megabits on the actual ports itself. So I'm going to install this. We're going to connect the NAS to this switch, and from the switch to the router, so that everything, of course, connects to the DHCP server in my main router. And from there, I'm going to drag a LAN cable from the switch to my laptop so that hopefully we'll get gigabit connectivity between the NAS and my laptop via the switch, and we won't be bottlenecked anymore by both the switch on the router nor the switch nor the what I call it the Wi-Fi speed. Buat nge-sinkronisasi audio nanti pas di editing nanti buat punya kayak waveform. Okay, in case you guys didn't know, what the whole point of like the clapping board, it's so that when you actually edit your videos, there's like a big spike in the audio file that the editor can use to sync up each clip. So that's why cameras still have like an audio intake, so you can just sync up everything. Anyway, first thing to do is that we're gonna need to actually shut this down because well, I completely forgot that the GUI just has a button to shut it down. I was trying to use the shell and it kept giving me a syntax error because I can't write for crap. So, should probably move everything out of the way, but let's just get this thing hooked up first. Still need to find a use for this thing. The processor is dead, but once I replace that, it should be up and running. So give me suggestions on what to do with that. My current idea is to just use it to run virtual machines, but also like I could, I could just do that on my laptop. Is what I'd say. Oh boy. Oh, I completely forgot this thing. My house isn't grounded. You know the stupid thing about my house is that my house is actually grounded at the main circuit board, the MCB, but it's not grounded in any of the outlets because whatever contractor installed the outlets, they forgot that, you can ground outlets. So everything in this house shocks me physically, which is very annoying. Cat 5e. We're gonna use that to connect the switch to the router because we don't need that much connectivity between them. Should I read this? Should I read this, Dad? Should I read this?
Here. Open.
It's the manual. Should I read the manual?
Here.
Does anyone read the manual?
Yes.
I don't know, my motorcycle came with a manual, but my dad just told me to go drive it around town, and that's probably why I crashed like 6 times trying to learn how to ride. Blah, 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 blah. Just legality stuff. We'll wing it. Okay, so this is the NAS internet. I really should label these things. I'm going to forget immediately. So just plug that in. Take the old 5 cable. Plug that in there. How do I arrange this? How should I arrange this? Menurut ini gimana arrange-nya? Apakah kayak ditumpuk aja kayak gini? Apa saya pindahin like nih?
Tumpuk samping situ aja kali.
Tumpuk sini aja ya? Okay, just gonna leave it like that. I have no idea what I'm doing. And now I just need to pull this Cat 6 cable from the switch all the way to my laptop, which Yeah, I'm gonna need to do some cleaning up. Ah. Oh yeah. Can you guys tell that I'm in electrical engineering by how messy this place is? I have a server rack in my bedroom. Who does that? Weirdos do. You think it's best if I work from my laptop first and then take it to the NAS?
Yes, sure.
I'm just gonna work my way backwards. They're like 15 meters for like a probably 7 meter stretch. I don't know, just over preparing, I guess. Is this a good idea, that zip tying LAN cables to power cables?
Yes, it is in.
Daripada, why are you shrugging your shoulders?
Daripada di ituin apa namanya?
Yeah, I'll put a hook on there later. Whatever.
Sure.
Okay, so we should be done now. I'm just gonna plug it in, turn this the NAS on, and see if we can connect to it. There's that dude beeping. Now we wait here for 30 minutes because it's a 2011 computer. I did install an SSD on it, so it's not that bad. Alright, the NAS is running, but it's not connecting. So, did it change IP? Alright, my phone can access it. How is my phone accessing it, but not my computer? Okay, there's conflict between my laptop and the NAS because my laptop, for some reason, has the same IP as my NAS. Okay, anyway, turns out the problem was that my laptop was taking up the same IP as True NAS, so they were both like fighting with each other. Clear it up. So now I'm just gonna, check this, and hell yeah, we got a 1,000 base connection on True NAS. The gigabit connection worked, though. Problem is that it's still connecting through Wi-Fi, so just gonna get a wired connection in, and then could test the actual transfer speed. Okay, I'm getting 1 gigabit connections. Okay, I'm now having a wired connection to TrueNAS. Let me see if it actually connects first. Whoop, up, 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 up. Come on, buddy, up, up. Okay, oh, okay, that was confusing. Okay, so same test again. High moon climbing, which is just a bunch of videos and photos of me climbing a mountain. Should be a good test, relatively realistic test on like my regular video editing junk because it's just a good mix of stuff. Wait, that. So this is now transferring from TrueNAS to my laptop, and look at that. We're getting 86 megabytes per second. Come here, get that camera thing closer. Look at that. We got 84 megabytes per second. Barely enough for editing videos, but that's fine. It's much better upgrade from like 6 megabytes per second I was getting before. So that was moving files from the NAS to my computer. So let's try the other way around. Let's move from my computer to the NAS. Yep, getting similar speeds. Alright, so we just saw there we're actually faster transferring files from my computer to the NAS. And that's because, like, as I said, these hard drives, there's Western Digital Purples, they're CCTV drives. They're designed for like efficiency and reliability, which is why I bought these instead of the Western Digital Blues, which you would use for a PC. But the compromise on that is that they actually read slower than they write because, well, it's a CCTV. You're not really going to review it a whole lot unless something bad happens. So, yeah, that's why they're a bit slow. But, oh, it's done already. Also, I just want to say something. Technically, if you want to build this NAS yourself for video editing and you're using a software like DaVinci Resolve, you don't actually need a gigabit connection. you're actually fine using a 100 megabit connection instead, because what DaVinci does is that when you're editing a project, it loads all the video files onto your RAM instead of like pulling it from your disk, which of course is how it gets it so fast. But what happens then is that you don't really need really high transfer speeds between your NAS and your computer because everything's on the RAM anyway. Unless you're editing a project that's like really big where all the video files cannot possibly be stored on your system RAM, then you're gonna have some issues. Then you're gonna need better connectivity to get all those files transferred in time for like a better editing experience. But for what I'm doing, this is perfectly serviceable. I'm happy with how this turned out. I'm gonna be able to archive all my junk so much faster now. Anyway, thanks for watching. I guess this NAS is done for the moment being up until I decide to maybe install a JBOD onto it. But that's gonna be a very long in the future project. So if you want more junk like this, then I guess subscribe, whatever. See you guys later.